we're going to just start. As you join, please introduce yourself. And the entire purpose of this session is just to help us understand how we can make impacts or how we can make better impacts or scale our impact if we have not started already. So just a little tiny bit about myself. My name is Anu. Like I said earlier, I am a development communicator. Simply means that I communicate development issues, development stories, things like that. That's what the programs. But I'm very, very passionate about volunteering, about youth development, about social change, about, we talk about Africa development. Those things really used to just drive me to, like, why are we like this? And we can be better. And basically, I believe that every young person has a role to play in how Africa will turn out, and how Nigeria will turn out, or in how your direct community will turn out. Like, and these days, I tend to look at young people and I see that somehow we have also imbibed the culture of the people that we detest. So it's important that we start to think, look at ourselves, reflect, and just see how we can start to do things differently, right? So before we continue, I know we've introduced ourselves, but we are here basically because we want to talk about volunteering. For those of us who already volunteer, please share with us. Why do you volunteer? Or why do you want to volunteer? I have options here. Is it to help? Is it to gain experience? Are you trying to find purpose? Are you trying to build your CV? Are you just trying to make a difference? Why do you want to volunteer? So I want to see our chat. I want to see our response in the chat. Like I said, this is going to be interactive. So please use the chat. Use the chat. Yes. Why do you want to volunteer? And there's no wrong or right answer. It's just really why you are doing this. I'm going to be reading through the chat as well. Okay. Am I not seeing anything? We're not seeing anything. Okay, Treasure says to make impact. Fola Jami, your hands are raised. Please, you can unmute your mic and talk to me.
Also, I was going to ask.
Okay.
I was going to ask, are we only allowed to write in the chat? Can't we speak? I can't type now, but I can't speak.
Okay, feel free.
Oh, great. So for me, I've been a volunteer since I was a teenager. So for me, one thing that I wanted to do was to make change. That I am doing currently is to make change. And regardless of what level I am in my career, I'm currently in my mid-career level. I still volunteer at every point in time because I'm very, very passionate about making change, not just change, but very impactful and effective change, something that has ripple effects and that will tell even when we're not here anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I can relate to that. Thank you for wanting to make change. Also, if you want to speak, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call and then you can go ahead and speak. So Treasure wants to make impact. Ife, thank you for being real. All of the options actually. Yes, because there's no wrong or right answer anyways. Emmanuel wants to volunteer because he wants to build himself, make impact, and update his CV. Very valid. Make impact to gain experience. Yes. This Jumolo is passionate about volunteering. Okay, she's passionate. She just wants to help people, provide service, and make impact. Yes. Helen wants to make impact and update her CV. Right. Thank you very much. And we'll see that in the course of this session, there is no wrong or right answer. If you want to actually grow, you're not being selfish if you want to volunteer. And if you want to make impact, you are being selfless. Either ways, nothing is wrong or nothing is. There's no wrong or right answer. Everybody's completely correct. So we're going to move on because of our time, and we'll dive right into today's session. So what we'll cover today, don't mind that there are 6 points here. Don't worry, we'll go through every one of it. And I believe that regardless of where you are in your volunteering journey, you're just starting, you've been volunteering since you were born, you started volunteering recently, you don't even know what volunteering is about, or you even work in development space or something, I believe that there is one or two things for you in today's session. So we'll look at volunteering, we'll look at the big picture, we'll look at the opportunities, you can get from volunteering or just generally in the development sector. We'll look at some protocols of volunteering. And so if you have an organization and you have volunteers, these protocols of volunteering will really help your volunteers. So you can invite them. We'll look at how we can use our voice very briefly, and then we'll have our question and answer session. Please feel free to pull up your questions and answers, your questions for the last session. By the end of the session, would all of the things that we are going to look at, you'd understand what volunteering and social impact is, the SDGs, identify opportunities, build your CV, navigate volunteering professionally, and use your voice. So let's get right into it. Are we ready? Before I move to my next slide, are we ready? I hope nobody is cooking beans while we're on this session. I hope we've had breakfast. And for those who are fasting, I hope that we are fasting. Great. Because I want us to pay full attention. So what is volunteering and why does it matter? Volunteering is the intentional act of giving your time, skills, knowledge, or energy to support a cause, organization, or community without expecting financial payment. So I'm going to break it down. Volunteering is firstly intentional. You woke up one morning, you decided that I want to make a difference. You woke up one morning, you decided that I need to refine my CV or I need to gain new skills. It was intentional. And if it had not been intentional, now you should start thinking about it more intentionally. And what are you doing while volunteering? You're giving your time, your skills, your knowledge, your energy to support a cause. And not just a course, we'll come to the kinds of courses that we can support, but you can also support an organization, right? So volunteering is not just for non-profit or NGOs. Volunteering can also you can also support tech startups, you can support government organizations, you can really support. It's a wide range of systems of organizations or agencies that you can volunteer with. You can also volunteer directly with communities. So with maybe communities for disabled or your faith or religious communities or your school community. So volunteering is really broad. It's not stuck up on just volunteering for non-profit organization or NGO. Then the core part of volunteering is that you are not expecting any financial payments. Financial payments may come. You might get stipends, you might get transport fare, you might get this support and that support, but you are not expecting it. That's why it's called volunteering. If it's internship, then you might expect some certain level of, of appreciation or reward. If it's an employment, of course, you're expecting to be paid. But the core of volunteering is that you're not expecting financial payments. However, it is still an exchange. So while you are not expecting financial payment as per monetary reward, there are certain things that you should also get in return for your time, for your skills, for your knowledge, and for your energy, right? You should, as the community is benefiting from you, you are also growing your experience, you're growing your skills, you're gaining exposure, your perspective is changing. I remember when I started volunteering and when we started to go out to communities that were what we consider low income communities or disadvantaged communities or things like that, slums and things like that. And you go there and you see that the children are just generally happy, even though the conditions were not exactly great. And many times when I wanted to complain, I'll just look at them like, if these people can still be smiling in all of this, really terrible place, maybe I should just be a little bit grateful. And so sometimes that change in perspective in that moment will really help. Also, volunteering is not just, so now I'm busting some of the myths that we have concerning volunteering. Some people believe that, oh, it's free labor. No, it's not free labor, it's an exchange. Some people believe that, oh, it's only for people that have free time or that have plenty money. That's not true. Even if you have 2 hours in a day or on the weekend, or you have, if you don't have money but you have people that have it, you have the network, you have the connection, you can still volunteer. Even if you cannot be physically present, you can give your skills, you can give your services remotely, right? You don't have to be physically there. For example, we're having this session virtually. There are organizations that need virtual support that you can volunteer with. So those that need content creators, social media managers, and things like that, you can always give that skill freely or voluntarily online without being physically present. Another thing people believe about volunteering is that it's only for NGOs and charities that need volunteers. I've spoken about this. There are several other groups that need volunteers. Can find a school or these low income schools that need volunteer teachers. They can't afford to pay. However, the owner is just trying to make sure that children in the community are educated. You can volunteer there as a teacher, right? There are community groups. For example, during Ramadan, during this fasting period, I'm sure that some mosques have groups where they are trying to distribute items and things like that. You can volunteer there, your school, your department, your faculty. There are several opportunities to volunteer if we open our eyes. It's not every time we start looking for, or you want to volunteer with one organization in a faraway place. Then volunteering doesn't build a career. That's a very, very big lie. A very, 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 very big lie. Most people will start out, because when you start out, they will ask you for 2 years, 3 years experience. Your very best bet is to actually have at least volunteering experience. That's how you put it there. And as we continue, we'll see how you can, refine your CV and add up your volunteering experience. For me, I started out majorly with volunteering experience. In fact, I still have volunteering experience alongside my work experience so that my CV looks more robust, right? So, what is social impact? And I believe that many of us already know this, or at least we have an idea what social impact is, but many of us cannot define it, right? Many of us, we just have an idea, but we can't really say per se what it is. So social impact is the measurable and lasting change that improves people's lives, strengthens systems, or transform community. It's very simple. It is measurable, meaning it is tangible. You can see it, you can count it, you can say this is the number, this is how much impact. You can check the cause and the effect. You can check what has changed. But it's not just change, a one-off change. It's a change that lasts over time. And that's where the word sustainability, that's where it really comes from. It's a change that lasts over time, a change that even when you're not there, the work can continue. Even when you're not there, the community can continue to benefit from it, right? And it's not just to one person, or it can be more than one person. It can be to people directly. The impact can affect people directly. It can strengthen systems. So when we talk about systems, we're talking about maybe policies that needs to be changed or that needs to be influenced, maybe laws, maybe execution, certain things that need to be done that might not directly affect the lives of people, but in the long run really would affect how they live, would affect how they make money, would either empower or disempower them. And that will transform communities, right? So it's simply just making life better in a way that even when you're not there, it continues. So somehow, if you're going to say the difference, I feel like volunteering contributes to social impact, right? However, we need to learn how to volunteer in a way that even when we are not there, right, our work still continue to speak for us. Or we need to learn how to build systems, or how to build people, or how to contribute to society in a way that even when you're not actively talking, or even when you're not on the field, the things that you have done, people can say, oh, Helen's work really did this, or Helen contributed to something that did this. And I think that's how we should start thinking of our volunteering. Not just, oh, I'm going to the field and I want to go and distribute rice. No, we are thinking of how that educational program that you are a part of, how is going to give a child access to, an education that they would originally not have access to, and how in the future their life is going to change because you decided to volunteer. Really, that's how we need to start thinking about volunteering from the lens of social impacts, even though we are growing. And now the big picture. I hope we are still together. I hope that I'm making sense so far, and we just even really started. Great. So now let's look at the big picture. And really, the big picture is about the SDGs, Africa, people, planet, and prosperity lens. And why I'm sharing this is because many of us are volunteering, but we really don't know how important our work is in the grand scheme of things. You're just like, "Oh, I'm just volunteering with that small community," or even if it's your church, "Oh, I'm just volunteering this, oh, I'm just doing this." We belittle the work that we do because it's just volunteering, right? And so that's why we are going to look at this big picture. Now, how many of us know about the SDGs? Let me start from there. And let me change my slide before you read it. How many of us know about the SDGs? Okay, I see some thumbs up. Okay, okay. Just two, three people. Okay. So if you know about it, what's your favorite? Should I say your favorite SDG? What SDG does your work align with? For those who already volunteer. If you already volunteer, what SDG are you passionate about? I'm going to just wait for us to drop it in the chat. What SDG are you passionate about? Sustainable development goals. That's what I'm referring to. Which of them are you passionate about? You can raise your hand. You can leave a chat either way. Ah, everybody that said they know about the SDGs, I'm not hearing from you. People should not go and cook beans. So, what SDG are you passionate about? I mean, if you don't know the number, probably know what sales. Okay. Manager is people. Okay. Who else? While I wait because of our time, let's okay, 3, 4, 5, 16. Good health and well-being, 3 and 5, 4 and 5, right. And so if you're on the call, because we would really go through all of the SDGs, but if you're on the call, you should read up on the SDGs. And very important, very funny story. I remember doing a course, Communications for Development, and it had SDGs in it. And I went for an interview and with an organization that me, I was just interested in. They do development work. And I went for an interview. And guess who I met? Guess who I met during the interview? My lecturer. The lecturer that taught me, those SDGs, right? Part of my course. And I'd already answered most of the question. And this woman was like, "Yeah, so can you mention the SDGs and which one connects with the work that we do here?" I'm like, "Hazal now." Luckily for me, because of exams, I'd already learned. I don't even know if I learned it or I crammed it. I sure knew all 17 in my head as of that time, right? But let's look at let's do a little bit of a throwback to the origins of these SDGs, right? Um, Now in 2015, different countries came together, including African countries, and they were like, "You know what? Let's plan how we can make the world better," right? They categorized most of the world's problem, most of the global development problems or challenges. They categorized it and said, "You know what, let's work towards this and let's see how we can improve systems." So prior to the SDG, there was the MDG, that's the Millennial Development Goal, right? They reviewed that and they saw that they were not hitting their targets. So they decided to revamp and then made the goal 17. I think the MDGs maybe it was like 15 or something, I can't remember. And then they moved to the SDGs. And the target for SDGs, um, the goals are supposed to be achieved by 2030. That's 4 years from now. However, however, here in Africa, we are so far behind. Let me see if I have a slide that speaks to that so that I don't jump. We are very far behind, right? But most non-profit organizations, most development organizations, in fact most communities and all, most of the work that they do are still tied to this SDG because it's a global goal. Everybody is trying to achieve it, and Africa is also working towards it. I have a bit of I have a bit of an argument concerning the SDGs, anyways, but for now, this is what everybody is working towards. And I categorize this into 5 P's, not my categorization. There are different categories, there are different ways to categorize the SDGs, but I'm using the P, that is the people, planets, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. And so, what this means is that if you're working with a non-profit organization or if you're volunteering in any sector, really most of the work that they do for those who are development inclined will tend to fall within these categories. Also, if you are passionate about a cause or interested about, interested in changing something or moving something around, most of the work that you would have to do, or most of your development contributions or your impact work, will somehow fall into either of these categories. So from goal 1 to 6 are goals that directly affect people. No poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality, and the likes. They directly impact people's lives. So if you're working with people, you're doing projects that directly impact people's life, you are somewhere between goal 1 to 6. I'm also sharing this so that it can help us know how to volunteer. For those who are not yet volunteering, can help us understand how to volunteer more strategically. You can't really be everywhere, right? Even for organizations, you can't say that you are trying to achieve all 1 to 17 goals. It's not possible. Some of it might align, some of it might, sync. However, you have to focus on core areas. And it's the same thing for volunteering. You have to be able to focus on your area of strength or your area of particular interest. There's also the planet goal 6, 13, 15, clean water, climate actions, life on land and below water. They also impact people. However, this goals directly impact our environment and then indirectly impact us. There's the prosperity goals, goals 7 to 11. This one has to do with jobs, innovations, cities, urbanization, development, all those kind of things. There's also the peace goals, peace, justice, and strong institution, as the name implies. Then there's the partnership goals. This is really where everybody is now, okay, how this person and how this person can work together to achieve or to support these other groups in achieving their goals. Really, so that's just a brief breakdown of this. And if you look through, you find out that what you're interested in falls in one of these. So if you're interested in climate, you know where it falls. Just look through. Falls on that planet. If you're interested in gender equality and all that, directly impacts people and things like that. But where do we stand here in Africa? And this is so that you understand how important your contribution and your work is as a volunteer. It's not just volunteering. It's not it's not just it's, I don't know how to say. It's not just, oh, I'm volunteering. It's more than that. Is you being part of moving Africa from where it currently is to where it ought to be. So according to an SDG progress report, we have only hit 12% of our SDG targets in Africa. Although I think we did very well prior to 2020, but then COVID threw us back. So for example, if you're looking at maybe gender equality, or you're looking at issues of sexual and domestic violence, you know that during that COVID period, it was so high, it was high. Also education, a lot of out of school children during that period. So that period really threw us back, and we are yet to recover. As we are trying to recover, they are withdrawing aids. So aids is like foreign support to help, organizations, um countries reach their SDG goals, or at least achieve development. So as we're moving forward, they are withdrawing aids, they are throwing us backward, and that's just been like a circle, right? And based on the global SDG tracker, we have not come very, very far. Why? For example, there are geopolitical issues, war, especially in Africa. We have more issues or more um, political crises, corruption, wars breaking out, coup everywhere, and things like that. So those geopolitical issues are also affecting how, sorry, 1 minute, also affecting how we are able to move towards our goals or move towards the global goal and achieve them. We have environmental and climate issues, right? And these issues, if you think of it in, or how will I put it? If you think of it in the other way, you find that they are not just issues, they are opportunities, right? So if you think of political crises, if you think of political apathy, if you think of issues in governance and all, you find out that there are opportunities to make a difference, to make a change, especially if you find yourself passionate about that. So this session is also to help provide some sort of clarity for those of us who might still be confused as to how to define the things that we are passionate about. Then there is also the environmental and climate shifts or issues, as you call it. For example, I don't think we saw Hamatan throughout last year. Those that saw it was coming on like Nepal lights, right? So there's climate issues, there's environmental issues, there are issues of food insecurity. So if you're in the agro space or if you're passionate about agriculture and things like that, you know that it is not just an issue, it is also an opportunity. There is the economic shift, right? And the economic shift, as per people are living way, 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 way below any standard. I don't even know if there's a standard, but the poverty line is low, is getting lower and lower. There is issue of inflation, different kinds of economic crisis, right? And if you are thinking about this, you are thinking of economic empowerment for youth, you are thinking of job opportunities, you are looking at youth development, you're looking at skills acquisition, you're looking at vocation, you're even looking at education, because of course there's also educational crisis. Then you're looking at social and demographic shifts. You're also looking at the crises that women experience, the gender issues, sexual violence, domestic violence. You are looking at really, you're looking at different things when it comes to social and demographic. You're looking at people with disabilities, right? You're looking at how they are being left behind. You're looking at inclusion. When you think of these shifts, you're also supposed to be thinking of the problem. So think with me. When you also look at AI and rapid technology shifts, so now these are issues that are causing us to be left behind, and there are issues that we can all address either through volunteering or through social entrepreneurship or anyhow. There are issues that we can address to move us forward and help us achieve the SDGs, even beyond the SDGs, and help us just develop even in Africa, right? So we're looking at rapid technology shift and AI. And I'm here and I'm saying that, oh, I have an argument, especially concerning AI. As great as AI is, some people are being left behind. That's one. Some people do not even have access to mobile devices and all. And then you find that the disparity, the gap between those who have access and those who do not have access will continue to widen. Also, there is the parts where the ethical part of using AI, where now we have guys using AI to unclothe women, to redress people, and things like that. There's issue of abuse there. So as much as we think that we are developing, particularly in Africa, some of our developmental challenges are so deeply rooted that someone has to wake up and start to look at how can we address these things. Now, these are some of the challenges, and these are some of the things that we must begin to consider when we address, or when we are seeking to reach the SDGs. Are we still together? Has anybody lost me? Do we understand? Is it unclear? Do we have any arguments or anything? Please let me know before we continue. I can almost guarantee that we'll finish this in due time. Please use the chat. Please unmute your mics. I want to hear from us. What other challenges do you think that we have? Maybe something I have not mentioned, or something you're actually passionate about that you think does not fall into any of these categories. Okay, so we'll continue then. But I hope we are learning generally. Now to the opportunities and trends. I'm really going to talk about opportunities and trends. Firstly, before I even talk about volunteering protocols, because whilst you're looking at just volunteering, there are also job opportunities, there are also employment opportunities within the sector, right? And not necessarily within the sector, there are also skills that you might not be paying attention to that are transferable. There are skills that you can learn now and that will be useful to you when you go into maybe the private sector, the public sector, the corporate world, and things like that, outside non-profit, outside charity, and all of that. There are skills that are very much transferable that we should start to pay attention to and consider. So let's look at some of them. Or whilst we look at some of them, we are going to look at the landscape. So this is almost like picking up from the shifts that we've spoken about. And I said that while we look at the shift, we find out that there are opportunities within that shift. So there are roles that are opening up, there are industries or sectors that are opening up or that are becoming not necessarily opening up, they've existed, but that are becoming more essential, they are becoming more useful. Funding is going into them because I mean, organizations, non-profit, charity, international development organizations, they are trying to push us or they are trying to see that we all get to the goal. So yes, money is coming into those sectors in particular, even though money is leaving some sectors. Innovation is happening in those sectors. Those sectors are recruiting, they are looking for volunteers, they have paid opportunities that we can begin to explore. Now, some of these sectors now, this is not, it's not limited to what we have on this list. It's not limited to what we have on this list, but these are some sectors that you can consider. Climate and sustainability. We've mentioned that as part of the shift. So it means that roles are opening up in this sector, right? They are looking for even corporate brands, they are looking for sustainability analysts, they are looking for sustainability officers, they are looking for climate adaptation officers, you know, agro systems are also opening up. So sectors where agriculture, where they are trying to find food, fight food insecurity, you know, and things like that. Those sectors are opening up. So there are sectors that you must also look into and consider. Gone are the days where they'll say, oh, people that studied agriculture, they don't have job, they don't have this, they don't have that. If they are able to plug into the right, I mean, into the right place, I can't count the number of opportunities that I've seen in recent times concerning climate, or agriculture. Do I have any weakness? Have you also seen them? Have you been seeing them? So you see that opportunities are opening up in this area, and you must now begin to like look at how your work or how the skills that you do or how you're volunteering, how you can begin to work even in this sector. There's also digital skills. I mentioned AI. Now digital skills is beyond Google, is beyond Microsoft, is beyond, even though those are like basic levels. There's now AI, there's AI adoption, there's so much happening also in that sector. There is the part with media and AI, there is ethical use of AI. So much is also happening in that sector that you must also begin to consider. Youth employment programs. Also, I'm going to slash this with education. So because whether we like it or not, education is like fundamental, and so money would always come towards education. Roles will always open up towards education, fellowships, and things like that in the education slash youth empowerment sector. So these are trainings that you can put together. You have a skill that is, you know, even if it's not unique, don't let me use the word unique. You have a skill, you have a product that you can sell. You want to facilitate sessions, even as a volunteer concerning, you know, youth empowerment, concerning education. You want to do a training, that kind of thing. Is someone talking to me? All right. You want to do a train the trainer kind of thing. These are sectors that are also opening up because funding is also going towards creating job pathways for young people, educating not just the children, but also the teachers. Because if you are considering AI adoption, then you are considering how can we then reach the people that can help us reach the people that we need to bridge the gap with. I hope you can see the picture with me. There is also the public health initiatives, and so but this one I feel like is also evolving beyond just doing eye test and doing nose test and doing all of this. There's still a serious knowledge gap For example, cancer awareness, pap smear for women, things like that. The more these different diseases are coming up and are evolving, and drugs are, to cure them are also coming up, the more education needs to go down to the grassroots, right? And to be honest, I've seen several fellowships for, particularly for students, those studying public health, those studying microbiology and things like that, that you can begin to tap into. There's also gender advocacy, social entrepreneurship, data and research for development. It's a whole lot. You can sit with it and do your research and study. This field I am currently, how is it evolving? How can I contribute to Africa's development using my current skill or using my present interest? There's also governance and civic space. It's part of the shift. And so election is coming here in Nigeria. And so if you are passionate about um what's the word? Moving people from political apathy to political interest, creating content, creating, toolkits to help people understand electoral issues, to help people understand governance. There's this Twitter page that I really fell in love with recently. It's called GST. They're doing such an amazing work with breaking down, governance, breaking down the cost of governance, and people are getting angry as they ought to be because of the things that they are finding out, right? And so there are also skills that, whether you are volunteering or whether you're working in development or whether you're just working in your corporate, public, private space, there are skills that are transferable either ways. Communication and storytelling skills, project management, research and data analysis, monitoring and evaluation, digital content and media, fundraising and partnerships, cultural competence. These are skills that, as a volunteer, once you engage with communities, once you engage with people, once you are actively part of projects, these are skills that you would have. And they are skills that will end up being useful for you in your workplace. There are skills that when you put it on your CV, you are not lying. You are saying the truth. You can prove it, right? They are not just skills that you copy from the internet and just add it there. They are realistic and they are transferable. And so that's why I used to say that if you are volunteering, you are doing yourself a very big service. It's an opportunity to learn without payment. It's an opportunity to also make mistakes, I won't say without being held responsible, but an opportunity to make mistakes and correct your mistakes, and learn promptly. So, on to the next, where to find volunteering opportunities. I'm going to share this slide with us so that we can refer to this. Then there are global platforms, there are African-based, there are local platforms. I said it earlier, even around you, there are opportunities to volunteer. Now, building a portfolio and CV from volunteering. How many of us have added our volunteering experience to our CV before? If you have done that, you can just raise your hand. Let me see. You've ever added your volunteering experience to your CV? Okay. I see like 2 people. 3. Okay. Just 3 people. Okay. 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 So, thank you. You can put your hands down. Okay. I think I have 4. So when they say, and I think this was something that I learned, I think when I was in like year 1 or something, because then now just fatigue. But then I like to just apply randomly. I would just apply randomly for things. And I should also say that I was volunteering with so many organizations. Because me, I was just looking for an opportunity to go out. So they say Makoko today and there. If they say Victoria Island tomorrow, I'm there. Whether it's impact or whether it's event or I'm sure because me, I just wanted to go out. Right. And although I suffered for it too, I suffered for it, but there were still things that I learned on on journey. And one of it is that all this experience I can put it on my CV. And I did. So if you say you're looking for 2 years of experience, I mean I've been volunteering since last year. By the time I put the dates from 2019 to 2020, is that not 2 years? Yes. So I put it there. Although some workplaces are some workplaces, I think it was before Sha, that they used to be very particular with, oh, it's a volunteering experience. However, if you're able to spell it out as it ought to be, if you're able to spell it out like an actual work, like an actual task that you completed, you are good to go. The problem, however, is that many of us are not even that committed to volunteering enough to be able to confidently put it on your CV as an experience. So we see that sometimes we are doing ourselves. Anyways, how do you build a portfolio and CV? You document as you go. I didn't know this earlier. So there's quite a number of things I can't even remember that I was a part of, or that I did, or that I contributed to, until maybe I stumble on it or I meet someone that something like that. But document as you go. Oh, I was a part of this, or I was a part of that, and this was the impact, this was the results that we had. Document it personally. I also learned something from an HR expert where she said, always have a bragging sheet. And I think it works for volunteering as well. Have a brag sheet. Oh, we contributed to this development, we contributed to that and all. Then name your roles properly. It's difficult if you are volunteering and you're doing something like, for example, when you volunteer, you just always distribute rice. So you are in charge of distribution. Let's do a little exercise. If you are always in charge of distribution, how do you think you can define your role? If you maybe want to put it in on your CV, but you are always in charge of distribution, how would you say it? You can raise your hand if you want to comment, or you can write in the chat. I'm waiting for us soon. You're always in charge of distribution, or you like distributing. How do you put it on your CV? Because that's where many of us actually have our challenge. We find it difficult to translate what we do to something more corporate, or to put it in corporate terms. For example, you help your mom in her shop. For example, you always help her sell something, and even customers are always coming back because they like your customer service. Many of us do not consider it an experience, because that's you being a customer service rep, or that's you being a depending on the English, that's you being a client support officer or client support manager or something. And part of your what's the word in part of your achievements, you can talk about retention, and you are not lying, because customers come back because they say, you're always nice to us. So you facilitated customer retention, right? About 50% of your customers always come back. If you think about it, if you really dip it, that's what it actually is. And you're not lying. Yes. Facilitate orderly distribution of welfare packages at events. Yes, that's how to describe what you do or what you have been able to achieve. Welfare manager, thank you, ma. Welfare officer, yes. So because you cannot write distribution of distribution of items, you cannot write down on your CV. You cannot just write distribution of items on your CV. It has to be properly worded. And thank God for AI. Yeah, it's not just say AI, give me a CV for. It's to be able to translate what you already do, impute it, and just ask it to refine it for you. It will give you the correct English. It will give you a more practical description, right? So, for example, we have a volunteer, and this is an example of a weak CV and a strong CV. You can tweak it how you want. Volunteer Health NGO 2023. Helped at events, did community work, assisted with programs. That's literally how many of us put our volunteering experience. Distributed food, um, 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 talk to beneficiaries. No, nothing like no serious wordings. And so if the HR person is seeing this, the person is wondering, we don't distribute food in our organization. Do you understand? We don't even necessarily do community work. They are finding it hard to translate what you have on your CV to what they do without communicating with you, because your CV is like you in absentia, right? But instead, you can write community health volunteer, facilitated 12 health sensitization workshops, reaching blah, 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 blah. Now they know your ability to engage community. They know your ability to mobilize. They know that you have communication skills. From here, created bilingual health education materials, blah, 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 blah. Now they know that you have content development skills or curriculum development skills, right? Your achievements, program recognized by this. Now they know that you have some sort of visibility or your program had some measurable impact, so much that you were recognized by this. And it doesn't mean that you were the only one that did it. They also can tell that you are a team player because obviously only you could not have done it. And even if it was only you that did it, they also know that you are fit to work independently, proactively, and probably without supervision. So really, how we also spell out our volunteering experience is the issue. It's not that, oh, it's because you are a volunteer. That's not the issue. It's how we spell it out. Um, Quantify your impact. We've gone through that example. Add a volunteer experience session to your CV. Now, this is in two ways. If you have actual work experience and you have a volunteering experience, I recommend that you keep them separate. However, for entry level, or you don't have an actual work experience but you have a volunteering experience, you can use your volunteering experience as your work experience, as long as you spell it out. So if you look at this CV here, you see community health volunteer. It's obvious that it's a volunteering role. You were not paid for it, but you got the job done. Build a simple portfolio that will require maybe having a website and all, depending on the level of work that you've done. And then always ask for a reference letter. Again, it is impossible to ask for a reference letter if you have not done anything referenceable. So if you don't show up as a volunteer, if you don't do what you are supposed to do, it's impossible. Nobody's going to give you a reference letter for free. Some of us want to apply, you want to travel out, you want to apply for a scholarship, for a fellowship, they'll ask you for reference. If you are volunteering, you really don't have to stress because that's a very valid source for reference. So let's keep this going so we can wrap up very soon. But I hope we're learning. I think after this, I have just one more slide and after this, I have one more part and we can call it a day. Thank you for still staying through. So now let's look at volunteering protocols. If you have an organization, your volunteers should be listening to this. If you're a volunteer, you should pay attention to this as well. Now, volunteering protocols are things that you're supposed to know and do and never ignore while volunteering. They will save you. They will help you. They would reflect in your work. Before you start, make sure that you do your homework. Remember that I said earlier that you must be able to align your passion or what you're interested in with maybe an SDG. But beyond even an SDG, you must be able to align it with an organization. And that was where that was where my burnout started from, because I was literally volunteering for every organization. I volunteered with a sexual health and reproductive organization. I volunteered with an educational inclined organization. With them, there's no, oh my God, from my year one to my year two, there was no organization I did not volunteer for. Because me, I was looking for freedom, like I said, but it was just everywhere. And I suffered because I was using my money to pay my transport fare to all these places. I was using my money to buy this, buy that, to attend all of these events. Then, so to save you the stress, do your own work, research the organization. What do they do? What are they interested in? What's their core area? Right? What is their focus? What SDGs do they work with? Because not every opportunity, not every volunteering opportunity is for you. Some of them will cost you your time, so it has to be worthwhile. Some will cost you your reputation. The organization does not have a good reputation, so you know that once you align your personal brand or your name with them, it's already at stake. Some will cost you your safety, right? Especially if it is maybe organizations that they require that you go. For example, organizations that work in the north, you are in Lagos, decide to volunteer with an organization in the north, and then they ask you to come and volunteer with maybe an organization in Borno. I'm sure you know that they probably have casualties in some of these instances, not in every case, but you need to know, am I that passionate? Also understand the role clearly. If they say content creator or social media manager, because you know that you have to still balance this with other parts of your life. your school, your work, your family, and things like that, it's okay to ask questions and say, please, as I'm content creator, am I the one that is also posting? Or as I'm posting, am I the one that is also creating content? Or who am I working with? Or what does this really entail? It's okay to ask questions and just be sure, right? And so also okay to know their mission and their vision. So this thing that we are doing, what's the end goal? What do we intend to achieve? I already spoke about ensuring alignment with your passion and your values, your interest, and your timeline. Then read agreements. I volunteer with Do Good Charity Initiative, and we have a volunteer handbook. That handbook literally summarizes and contains um the at least the basics of every outreach or of our operations, from what you wear during outreaches, how to dress smartly, to how to comport yourself, to like the organogram, the structure, who to talk to when this and this and this and this is literally spelled out there. And most organizations or some organizations have this. If they do, please read it. It's for your own good. Then tell someone where you are going. And just one because of a particular experience I have, I always just say it. Tell someone where you are going. And when you okay, we'll come to that. Let people know when you are going out for I mean aside from volunteering for security purposes generally, right? And we're running through how to show up well, be on time. I remember this is for volunteers protocol. These are things that you should do when you are volunteering. Don't say, oh, I'm not getting paid. So you do it anyhow. Whatever is worth doing is actually worth doing well. So show up on time. Be there on time. Um when they say call time is 9, be there by 9. If you can be there earlier, all well and good. And there is a reason why they said call time is 9. If you can't make it, communicate on time. I'm sorry, I can't make it. Volunteers have a very terrible habit of ghosting. For most for most founders or something that I've spoken to, this is one of the issues that they have. Ghosting. It will be part of the plan, up to a point. At some point, pew, everybody has disappeared. Everywhere will go quiet. Nothing will be heard again. It's not a very, very, very nice habit if you're volunteering. Of course, it's your time. So feel free to say, I'm sorry, unfortunately, I can't make it at this time. Remember that you come and ask these people for reference letter. So if you have bad character, they will not give you. Follow the organization's lead. They know the community. Practical example. Practical example. I remember one time we went to I don't is it a Jigbile that we went to? Yes, one of the organizations I was volunteering with then. What's even their name, Steph? It's a feminine organization. We used to go and give pad. And I remember we went there with two buses and then a car. And when we got there, the community guys were like, oh, we need to pay for where we drop those items, like the land that we drop, we need to pay for it and all. And then the leader was like, no, we can't pay. Why would you say we should pay? We've been to this community and all, that they should go and call the community leaders and then we should pack those items back into the car. And I entered the car back when everybody should enter the car. But there was this particular person was trying to, do as if we can talk to those guys and reason with those guys and all and all. Let me just say that it didn't end well and it ended in fights. And everybody was really just mad at him because he was trying to do like, oh, I can talk, I can do this and all. It didn't really end well. I was also in cases where those boys, they came to scatter our team because we did not give them they said we did not give them something. We came for children, you are an adult. We did not bring something for you now. And then we had to like run and quickly pack up and leave. So if you don't follow your organization's lead, you'll be putting yourself in danger. Especially if you're going to, volatile places. And even if you're not going to volatile places, you want to believe that the organization leads has contacts, they have made communications with communities, they know the proper way to engage the community, except you are part of the community engagement team. Take notes, document your work as you go, ask questions, respect confidentiality. This is very important, especially in this age where everybody carries their camera. It's not everything that you video. And if you video it, it's not everything that should be part of your public content. Very, very important. It is not everything. Even if you write it down in your brag sheet, it's not all the details that should make it out to the public. I mean, respect the communities that you are dealing with, basically. Then also build relationships and network. Give feedback constructively. It's okay to say how this last event went. This is how we can do better. In fact, it is very good to contribute like that. It gives you a voice and it helps them, what's the word, acknowledge and identify you within the organization and say, okay, this person is really, this person knows what she's doing, or is really a part of us. Now, some of the things you should not do: don't overpromise what you can deliver. Yoruba will say Shebo Timo, right? How many hours can you commit per week? You say 20 hours. When you can only commit 6 hours, there will be problem because the expectation with the organization has been set. And so if they are making demands, you start to feel angry. You start to feel pissed, like, oh, why are you trying to take my time or things like that? You are the one that committed. Don't take pictures of beneficiaries without permission. I think we already spoke about this when we mentioned confidentiality. Don't share sensitive community data. Don't dismiss local knowledge. And I remember this from a course that I also did. And it was an advertising course, I think. And they were going to advertise in the north. I hope you can still hear me. They were going to advertise in the north, and they used the same um media content that they used in the southwest and the southeast. They took it to the north, and the community did not, it didn't sit well with the community. All right. So they had to go back, and this is under, I mean, community development communications, when you're engaging community, and they had to go back, resit, and then refine their strategy. And then they read the same copy, the same content. The only thing they changed was the pictures. And then they use pictures of women that are fully dressed and had their head covered. And that same message was accepted. What am I trying to say? You need to respect community. You need to respect community. You need to be sensitive to the community, and you can't dismiss their knowledge. So when they tell you that this is what we need, or this is how our people behave, don't say, yeah, I'm coming with research from somewhere or something. You either observe or carry out another assessment, or just try and understand them, than dismiss them and say, no, I know better, I'm coming with a higher knowledge. It most likely won't end well. Don't volunteer for one day and disappear. I've said it. Don't just do it for the certificate. With everything we've said, we've seen how much impact we can make and how much development Africa still needs to, what's the word? Yes. And how much Africa still needs to develop. We still have a very, very long way to go. A very long way. And it's not even the government that will just do it. So we're running. And yes, I am almost at my final slide and I'm so excited. Do we have any question? Let's pause for a water break. Do we have any questions, any contributions, anything you want to add, particularly to volunteering protocols? I know that some organizations don't do really well with their volunteers as well. So it's not just sitting on the volunteer's desk. So do we have anything we want to share regarding that? Maybe an instance where an organization has, they haven't done so well and you're wondering how to navigate that. Who wants to share with us? Who wants to share with us? So I'm going to wait. If we don't have, we can just say none for now so that I know to continue. These people have gone to make a malao. Hey. Okay. Thank you, Tosin. Anybody else? I want to hear. I want to hear stories, and I also want to hear your opinion. Something I said that doesn't sit with you, something you think should be done differently. Okay. So I like the known for now. It means that we're understanding it and we're learning things that we did not know before. Now, your voice matters. Like I said, I'm wrapping up with this, and I'm just going to. This part is very, very important to me in particular because, like I said before, I strongly believe that every young person on this call has the ability to do something differently. You have the power to do something differently, right? And it won't help us as a continent, as a country, to just be lackadaisical or to just complain or to just say, if I was in the US, if I was in the UK, if I was in the this, as you are not there in core. And even if you are there, you probably will still have family members here. So, I mean, when we talk of Africa's development, when we talk of development of Nigeria and all, aside maybe prayers and aside just blaming people, we need to be sure that we are doing our best. It will be discouraging sometimes because, I mean, the system is kind of rigged. The system is absolutely corrupt. It will be discouraging sometimes. But when we understand that it is beyond you and it is even beyond the immediate people that are misbehaving, it is for generations to come, right? And it is really just about, I don't know how else to say it. It's really just about saying that I'm part of something that is bigger than me. It's really that simple. So what can we do? Number one, can speak up. I don't have any extra slide for this. It came last minute. I just felt like I needed to add it. You need to speak up. You need to speak up. And speaking up, if you need to set your camera and talk, we don't have too many content creators. Don't let us deceive ourselves, right? If we need more voices, join them, set your camera, talk about that issue. If you need to write about it, no, we don't have too many blog or too many articles. Write about it. If you want to start research about it, do it. We don't need to wait. If you want to start a community around an issue, start it. We don't have to wait, or we don't have to say we have too much. Imagine we say we have too much and we are less than 20% close to the SDGs. So it means we are deceiving ourselves. Funding support is not coming as it used to or as we think it should. And so it means we need to start looking inwards and seeing how we can begin to support one another. Organize. I said if you need to put your community together, put it together, right? I know that I stumbled into having like the Impact Hub community. It was not something I initially planned. It was just a viral post, and I was thinking, okay, how do I bring these people together and just share my thoughts with them? And then for those who are interested, how do we then grow together? Of course, hundreds of people have left after that because they were just looking for, oh, how can I travel out from volunteering? And you see that in all of the things I have said, I have not spoken about how to travel out from volunteering because that's not the core. That is not the core of actually of making impact. It's to see a change. And when you see change, when you show up as you ought to, then you can then now apply yourself to these opportunities. Or in fact, these opportunities will come to you, right? So I said I have Mrs. Falakemi on this call. I also have people that when they see opportunities, they say, oh, and I think you should apply. You must apply. You must this, you must that, you must this. Even if I'm not actively looking for it, right? So we need to think beyond ourselves, think beyond that selfish, show up in policy conversations, participate. I think there's a question here on fellowships. I don't know if you want to ask the question now, but it's part of participation. So when you attend some of these fellowships, you get exposure, you hear alternative perspective, you listening on arguments, on debates, on proposals, you see how it is happening in other countries, you get inspired on how you can also build something similar or build something different where you are. Do you understand? You expand your knowledge base as well, and it's part of the ways to lend your voice, because when we contribute our little quota, I see how all of us are from different parts of at least Nigeria. When we contribute our little quota, even though it doesn't seem like it's showing in that instance, it's still doing something. There's still a little shift. There's a some knowledge has been added. Someone has been empowered, and I say it's, even if it's just one person that understands something in today's session, I'm very very much happy, right? And so we must begin to engage and not think that, oh, we're too small to do it. And so putting all of this together, volunteering blueprints, the blueprint is in your hand. Impact blueprint is in your hand. Everything that we're talking about is really up to us. The opportunities are there. Let's not deceive ourselves and say there are no opportunities. The opportunities are there. The issue is accessing them, positioning ourselves for them. The opportunities are there, very, very much so. And this is just a summary of everything that we have discussed. I'll leave it on the screen for us to run through. But let's take questions and answers because of our time. I want us to be out of here just 12:30. So if you have any questions, can raise your hand or I'll read through. You can drop it in the chat. I hope we've learned one or two things today. I hope with all my heart that we have. We have not. Please talk to me that we have. Okay. Thank you, Praise. Thank you, Luata Singh. Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. Okay. So I'm sure my friend is helping me share. We have a feedback form we'd like you to take. Ekomo is helping me share it. Please just take it so that you can drop your thoughts with us and can know how to maybe improve on another session and all. So I'm taking questions now. Okay, Helen says, what did I study in school? I made mention of an interview where I met my lecturer as a panelist, just curious. I studied mass communication, yes. However, there's a particular, I don't want to call it major. It's not a major, it's not a minor. It's just part of the courses that we did. In final year, we did certain sets of courses that were related to development. So communication for development, what's the other one? Population, just how to design messaging and things like that. And how to just do community mobilization, things like that, right? So those were some of the courses that we took there. And fortunately, she taught me communications for development. Somewhere in between, we had to design programs or design messages actually. And the SDGs came into the conversation. And I'm sure she just wanted to brag about her students. Thank God I did not disappoint her in that. Thank God I did not disappoint her in that moment. If not, because I was not expecting anything SDG in that moment. Right. So do we have any question? So seeing you said you have a question concerning fellowships, you can go ahead and ask. I'm waiting for Tosi. I don't know if she's typing or if she's or she's going to unmute her mic. Did I mute everybody? Okay, if you have any other question. Okay.
Sorry,
Tosi, you have
I just typed, but I guess you've not seen it yet. So my question is that I really don't know how fellowships work. I applied for a fellowship program, Lead Green Fellowship, and I just got um they just accepted me, I think last week, but we've not been onboarded. So I don't really know what to expect. It's actually about climate change. But I don't really know what to expect. I don't really know what they do. I just applied to just be there. Like you said, actually, I just wanted to do something different because I'm waiting for service and I don't really have much. doing in this moment. That was why I just applied. So I was surprised when I saw that they said that they accepted me. So I don't really know what to expect.
Okay, thank you, Tesni, for the question, and congratulations. Congratulations
Thank
on getting to
thank
the fellowship. For what I know about fellowship, it's usually a, okay, let me put it like this. It's a more structured, I wouldn't want to call it training program, but yes, it's like they bring people together in cohorts. Usually fellowships are repeated and they have like designed curriculum for them to go through. Some of them have mentors where they train people, where you get to connect. And sometimes it's just really for you to connect with your peers while you learn, right? So you people are like in a close community and you're learning something in a specific area. And sometimes you'd also have to do a project in that regard, right? So fellowships are usually like training, cohort based, project based kind of thing. You have to do hands on projects. Trainings are specialized. It's not just general. So it's not like you're just going to school and you're learning something. It's for example, your fellowship is on climate. So depending on the area of climate, you would specialize on certain trainings in that area, and then you do some peer-to-peer learning. You also have mentors that would mentor you. I don't know if there's opportunity for you guys to maybe travel somewhere and do like some sort of excursion. Some train and some fellowships allow that. Many of them you have to do hands-on projects, like you have to execute a particular thing and just work together. But what I know is for every fellowship, they always have guidelines and policies and all. So you might want to go back to the application and read through what they have said, right? So you might find that in your fellowship, they only selected like 24 people. It's not a public thing, usually very close names and stuff like that. Then you want to also look at the timelines for the project so that it doesn't clash and you don't end up dropping out. You want to look at timeline for the training, the kind of things you'll be exploring and all. I also advise that you leverage on it and share, talk about it. Oh, I'm part of this training and I'm part of this fellowship. I joined this fellowship. They always have communications in that regard, anyways. I just joined this fellowship and this is what I am learning. Also share your learnings maybe online or just note it down and things like that. So yes, I think that's what I understand with fellowships. I don't know if you need any clarity. I don't know if any other person wants to share. Someone just got into a fellowship, you want to share something about it, feel free. Justin, did I answer your question? I hope you can hear me. It's not like I'm talking to myself.
Yes, ma, I heard you. You answered my question. Thank you so much.
All right, all right. Um, I mean, if you want to contribute to that particular question, you can just raise your hand or you drop it in the chat. Esther is asking, she missed the session. Yes, the session is being recorded. Yes, it's being recorded. I would share it. I think we'd also share a link to where you can find the recording and we should send an email with the slide so that you can refer to it. Ezini is asking for someone passionate about SDG 3 and 5, especially through medical outreaches and health talks. What platforms would you recommend for good volunteering opportunities? Hmm. SDG 3 and 5 platform I would recommend. So if you're talking about platforms to find opportunities, number one, I would want to ask where you are or where you work, right? So for good health and gender equality, if you already work in maybe hospital, if that's where you work, I know that they usually have outreaches. If you're a student also, I know that most faculties that are health inclined usually hold outreaches. Your very best starting point is to actually join them. And that's why I used to say that instead of always stressing yourself going out and all, you can join a community that is very close to you, where your impact will be largely felt, right? Oh, you're a final year nursing student. If you check up, like if you check, I'm very sure that you guys have organized one or two outreaches. You can start from there. However, you can also volunteer with the organizations that do what's the word? Health outreaches. The organizations that are focused on that particular SDG. They do medical outreaches, they do awareness and all. But even within the SDG 3 and 5, I think that you might still need to define what particular courses are what's the word? Are more critical to you. So, for example, if you are more passionate about maybe cancer issues, or if you are more passionate about sexual and reproductive health rights issues, the organizations that actually focus on these different parts. There are also organizations that are just focused on public health. Now, you can find these organizations on, okay, let me just go back to that slide. You can find them on social media. And go on LinkedIn and search for we're looking for hiring health volunteers or call for health volunteers, and use that filter. It will come up. You would find one or two. Twitter, Instagram, same thing. You will find one or two. Or generally just search for NGOs, health NGOs, or NGOs in health, or NGOs, or just search SDG 3 and 5. Now, this is for general internet searching, right? Also, you can check, for example, Impact Hub. I know I check opportunities like that for health related issues. CDAs, your community development associations, might be a bit stressful. I know that Lagos State domestic violence, DVSRT, or what's it called, during this last rape assault case, they called for volunteers and they released a form for volunteers. So if that's the kind of thing you're passionate about, you can join them. I'll check if I can still find the link and share it. So there are issues, there are still different issues under this SDG that you might want to say, okay, this is what I am most passionate about. Let me join. There are also organizations that care for nursing mothers and babies, since you're a nurse. So if you're more particular about that area, you can also join them. These are some of the places um you can find opportunities that you may need. However, look inwards, like look around you. I'm sure that you would definitely find something. Be part of the outreaches around you. Your school is going on an outreach, join them. Where you work, you're going on an outreach, join them, and like volunteer to lead. Don't just join and stay at the back. Take up leadership roles. Also, if it's an issue you are very, very passionate about, whilst you volunteer, it's an issue you're very, very passionate about. Whilst you volunteer, you can also start doing something about it. When I say doing something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you start your own organization. If you want to start maybe sharing tips, sharing content, or you want to bring your friends together to actually do something, you can also do that. I don't know if I've answered your question. If anybody has maybe you're here, you have an organization that is health based or health related, you can also drop it in the chat, or you can contribute to this. Anybody can. Susan, did I answer your question at least? Let me also say that I'm looking at this and I remember something I wanted to say. There are volunteering is in like different phases, just the way these organizations, where we have international NGOs, we have regional based NGOs, we have local NGOs and things like that, right? And so I find that most people want to join United Nations volunteers, this one volunteers, that one volunteers, international NGOs, which is not bad. I don't see any issue with that. Feel free to join if that's where you feel like you want to be. However, you want to join organizations as well where your impact is felt and where your skills or where your resources or where your time is needed, right? I recommend joining, say, regional based, especially locally based organization. There are so many looking for volunteers, and aside looking for volunteers, looking for committed volunteers, right? um Also, if you are looking to build your skills, you should also ensure that where you are volunteering aligns. I'm just going to emphasize it again. It's a strategy. Just ensure that it aligns. You want to maybe do masters or you want to apply for a fellowship or something. If your volunteering experience is still at par with your interests, it might be very difficult to reconcile, right? So, yep. Do we have any other question? Okay, Susan. Any other question? So we can call it a day. Um, okay, Esther. I love to write motivational and inspirational write-ups, and I also love to care for children. Which organization is most suitable for me? Hmm. I think you can join organizations that are children-based. However, if you go by the SDG, you can join an organization that is focused on education, quality education, right? That way, when you join the team, you can then now join maybe their content team or their social media team, or if they have a newsletter team or a blog team or something, you can join them. I mean, there you know that you are putting your actual skills, you are putting into practice, you are growing the skills, and then when it's time, maybe you want to get an actual job, and they ask you for your experience or your portfolio of what you've written or what you've done or what you've published, usually published work. You can bring out something that is relevant and something that people have read and and what's the word? People have read and experienced. So yes, but you don't have to limit yourself to education. You can do education. You can also do zero hunger. Yeah. We are looking at zero hunger, no poverty, how how it affects children, can look at good health. Really, you decide you decide what you are most passionate about because in all of this there is a skill. Most organizations that work with children actually cover a variation of things. So once it's children, they do both maybe trainings for children, education for children, healthcare for children, and things like that. So you can find organizations like that that cover different aspects. You can also find an organization that just focuses on a particular thing with children. Some organizations are for gender what's the word? Sexual what's the thing called? CSA, child sexual abuse based. Like they create awareness, they facilitate sessions on child sexual abuse. Some are just empowerment for teenagers, self-esteem, faith, that kind of thing. So just look around, find something, or when you find something, check it very well. See where you'll be able to shine, right? Where you'll be able to actually use your skills when necessary. I hope I answered that, Esther. Any other question? Can we still hear me? Because everywhere is quiet. Any other question? Can you hear me? I hope that we are also that we are feeling the feedback from. Very, very important that we do feel the feedback from so that we can use that. Um Also, there is a form if you want to join the Impact Hub community. And I think I'm wrapping up with that. But if you have any question, you can still drop it. Um, if you want to join the Impact Hub community, we now have an Instagram page. Um, because the other page that we have is like my own personal page. So we're at the Impact Hub Africa. I hope this page is even correct. But the Impact of Africa on Instagram, you can follow us. I'm on TikTok at the Impact Girl. Um, where else? I think that's it. The replay will be out If you filled the form to join the community or the feedback form, or you just need maybe the slide or something, would also do well to share the slides with you. That's if you fill the form and we have a way to contact you. If not, I don't know how you get it. Um, yes, so I think that's it. Thank you for showing up. It means a lot to me, means a lot to the world. I mean, because it means that you're committed to impact. So thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. I hope that you enjoyed it. And beyond just enjoying it, I hope that you learned one or two things and that you'll be practicing the things that you have learned going forward. Just 1 minute, please. And I will be practicing the things that you have learned going forward. I think that there is a mistake with that particular one you shared. Let me see if I have a complete one here.
Ma,
So,
please, the Instagram page, is
yeah,
it Impact Hub Africa or the Impact Hub Africa?
the,
Okay.
let me see. Yeah, so the link to everything is there, is on the chat. So you can just copy that entire message so that you can follow through. But thank you so much everyone for joining. And I see my amazing mentors. I should also add, please have mentors on this journey. It's not gonna be easy because it's really working for free. Sometimes you get pissed like, well, I'm working for free now. What am I even gaining for this? But when you have people who have like gone ahead of you and who have, you've seen them make a difference, you've seen them do things differently, you've seen tangible impact that their lives have made, you just believe that it is possible. Whether you want to start your own organization, whether you're just volunteering or anything you want to do, you just believe that it is possible. And I'm looking forward to having several other conversations like this with us and with other young people. Trust me, I know young people that are doing amazing. Way. No comparison, right? But like super amazing. And very soon we'll have opportunities to like learn from them and hear from them and just ask them really practical questions. So thank you again everyone for joining. Have an amazing weekend. Have a great week and month ahead. Bye.